I'm Dr. Josh Reichard, Associate Faculty in the Forbes School of Business and Technology at the University of Arizona Global Campus. And this is an excerpt from a presentation I gave to the Organizational Management Studies faculty entitled, "The Future is Now, Prepare Yesterday, Constructively Integrating Generative AI in Organizational Management Studies." Let's start by answering the obvious question. What is ChatGPT? ChatGPT is a generative AI large language model, LLM, designed to generate human-like responses to natural language queries and conversations, meaning you can chat with it. Now, I actually have a computer science background, and I did a graduate certificate in data science and machine learning at the University of California, Riverside. So I have a particular technical interest in the development of artificial intelligence, and I have some experience with the underlying algorithms in the field. And I want to tell you that it does appear intelligent, but in the end, it's not. It's just symbol processing. It's just probabilities. It's just math. And while this is an incredibly powerful tool, it's nothing that we have to be afraid of. When you start to understand what's going on under the hood, it's suddenly and quickly disarmed. I've long had an affinity for the work of Alvin Toffler. He was a futurist who wrote a book called Future Shock in the 1970s, followed up by an influential book called The Third Wave. And Toffler described human history in stages or waves. The first being the agrarian age that disrupted the hunter-gatherer way of life of human prehistory. And then the industrial age upended agrarian norms. And we then entered the information age, and the internet turned the world on its head, and e-commerce became dominant. But it may be that we're now entering a new wave, a fourth age, where artificial intelligence will thoroughly disrupt white-collar work, and many of the aspects of the knowledge economy that we've grown accustomed to will be replaced or at least enhanced with the productivity tools offered by artificial intelligence and generative AI like ChatGPT. The question is, what are we doing as educators in online higher education to prepare for it ourselves and to help our students, who will be graduates, to prepare for that world that is already here? When thinking about the impact that generative AI will have on online higher education, or perhaps is already having, I'm reminded of John Steinbeck's East of Eden. Steinbeck had a remarkable way of peering deeply into the human experience. And East of Eden takes place at the end of the 19th century, on the cusp of the 20th century, when the world was changing with railroads and telegraph wires across the country, industry booming, and modernity creeping in and encroaching on a way of life that people had known for generations. And this is what Steinbeck says: "I don't know how it will be in the years to come. There are monstrous changes taking place in the world, forces shaping a future whose face we do not know. Some of these forces seem evil to us, perhaps not in themselves, but because their tendency is to eliminate other things we hold good. At such a time, it seems natural and good to me to ask myself these questions. What do I believe in? What must I fight for? What must I fight against?" These are perennial questions at any moment in history when the world is on the doorstep of inalterable change. And I think for us in online higher education, we are in a moment just like that, where our industry is going to change because of generative AI. Some of our presuppositions are going to be challenged, and the very foundations of what we thought was best practice will be shaken. But we as educators have to answer these questions for ourselves. What is it that we actually believe in online higher education? What is it that we must fight for? And what is it that we must fight against? We don't ask students in our online accounting courses to submit paper ledgers. We recognize that the paper ledger is all but obsolete. The first electronic spreadsheet, VisiCalc, was a killer app for the personal computer when it was released. But the establishment questioned it and wondered if it was just going to be a passing fad or if it was just a mere toy. And yet today, we expect all professionals to know how to interact with Microsoft Excel and how to apply formulas to spreadsheets. We couldn't imagine going backwards to teaching a paper ledger. We don't expect students to use typewriters. They don't have to know how to load the ribbon or repair the hammering keys or how to use the tractor feed. The first spell check program was developed by Digital Equipment Corporation for the PDP-10 minicomputer. And in fact, it was established in Stanford University's Artificial Intelligence Laboratory. And today, we rely on sophisticated word processing applications, built-in spell check, built-in grammar check in Microsoft Word, and even quasi-AI plugins like Grammarly that will restructure and rewrite sentences for us. In fact, most of us in online higher education encourage students to use Grammarly to refine their work. So why is it that we no longer question the use of electronic spreadsheets or spelling and grammar checkers? We don't consider those things cheating. They're productivity tools that have transformed the way we do our work. I recently read an article in Inside Higher Ed entitled, "Yes, we are in a ChatGPT crisis, and we need to start acting like it." In the last few months, higher education has been scrambling to respond to this disruptive technology. In fact, Turnitin added an AI detection feature to its plagiarism checking software. And suddenly, the efforts were turned towards developing university policies and finding ways to punitively catch students who are using generative AI for their coursework. I agree, we are in an educational crisis in online higher education, but I think it's a crisis of our own making. I'd like to address some of the fears concerning ChatGPT and generative AI. First of all, it's nothing more than predictive text on a massive scale. Just like the predictive text that you use on your mobile phone, ChatGPT is just predicting what characters and therefore what words should follow the ones preceding them. It's simply using probabilities and making predictions about what comes next based on the data it was trained on. So generative AI will make up facts, sources, and quotes. It cannot discriminate truth from lies or fact from fiction. It's just working with probabilities. Therefore, it depends on the information or the knowledge that the model was trained on. So garbage in, garbage out. While it's a powerful tool, it's no more intelligent than a spreadsheet's formulas with accurate or inaccurate sales figures. ChatGPT is here to stay. We will not put this genie back in the bottle. It is a productivity tool that will transform work. I'm not terribly afraid of generative AI, and I know its technological limitations. I don't think we'll be seeing AI overlords anytime soon. So I say let's use this opportunity to craft assignments that produce more empathetic, more emotionally intelligent, more human-focused graduates of our online degree programs. We need to look in the mirror and decide what we believe in. We need to decide how our assignments are actually producing the kinds of human beings who will make a difference in the world. As educators, we need to do what only human beings can do. Steinbeck says this in East of Eden, and this I believe, that the free, exploring mind of the individual human is the most valuable thing in the world, and this I would fight for.